Hey babe, welcome to the Turned On Woman podcast. This is your host, Lauren Schaefer, and I am so stoked that you are here today. Today we are talking about creating your reality with the man in it and what it means to truly turn on your energy so that you can attract the man, so that you do have the reality with the man in it. And it's not even about the man, but it's about enjoying the process, the dating process that gets you to the man. It's about attracting men in person and confidently talking to men, getting you out of your head and more into your body. All of this and more we're going to talk about today as it relates to turning on your energy and really using your feminine energy to make you the most powerful woman that you can be. As we get into it, I want to let you know that I am recording this from my place in Mexico. I live in Puerto Escondido, Mexico. It's on the beach in Oaxaca, and occasionally there is a rooster in the background. So if you hear that, that's just my little rooster neighbors that are chiming away through the afternoon. So what it means to be a turned on woman. Obviously, we know what turn on is in a sexual connotation, but truly having your energy turned on means that your energy is working for you. So you can also have your energy obviously turned off. And we know what turned off feels like, right? Like when you're turned on, you're excited. You have that energy and that desire flowing through you. Obviously, when you're turned off, you're in your head, you're anxious, you're stressed. These are like the lower vibrations. You might even be angry, sad, mad, things like that. So a turned on woman is a woman who is empowered because she's in the frequency of love, joy, bliss, desire, excitement. Those are like play, awe. Those are turned on frequencies. That is turned on energy. And when you're in that energy, you are in the realm of creating and receiving. Because when you are in these higher frequency vibrations, love, happiness, bliss, adventure, excitement, play, when you're in those frequencies, that is actually the experience that you desire to have. And like attracts like, law of attraction. So when you are turned on, you are open and available. And as I like to say, the feminine invitation for your desired experience. Now stay with me here. One of my favorite quotes is that life is an emotional game. So emotions are energy in motion. And it's not actually the man that you want. It's the experience of the man. You might look and see a physical man, and you might be like, "Ooh, I want him because he's, so good looking and checks my boxes and things like that." But if he doesn't make you feel good, if you are not feeling good in that experience, then you don't actually want it. You want the experience of the man, and that experience is love, joy, happiness, bliss, fulfillment, excitement, play. Those are the experience, the emotional experience. That is the emotional experience that you desire. And you attract based on who you are being. So the more often that you can be a turned on woman who does embody and emits from her body, who does embody the energy of this playfulness, this excitement, this joy, this openness, this expecting the best to happen, looking for positivity in the world, not being toxically positive, not denying the experience of other, as we would call them, lower vibration, like negative emotions, like sadness and anger and things like that, not denying those, but choosing more often than not to be in these higher frequencies because you trust that it's all working out. You trust the process. You trust life. And that is what enables you to be a turned on woman who's in the creational realm, who is creating her reality because she knows that like attracts like. And that when you're embodying those frequencies, they're going to come to you. They're going to show up to you because also you're in the receptive mode. When you're in the higher frequencies, you are open to receiving because you're not in lack. You're not looking for something to make you feel better because you already feel better. Therefore, you're not looking for a man to come into your life to make you feel better because you already feel so good. You're already playful and happy and joy and, adventurous and all of the things that you are doing for yourself in your life. And you're trusting the timing because you're like, if I feel good, then I can't get it wrong. Like, you just can't get it wrong. And the thing is that there comes a point in time where you need to take responsibility for your emotions and for your energy. They're kind of the same thing, emotions and energy. But you need to take responsibility for who you are being because you know that you attract who you are being. So if you're not experiencing men coming into your life that are representative of the type of man that you would like to be with, if you're not receiving providership from men, that might be someone holding a door for you. That might be someone having, a conversation with you and offering you a perspective. It might be someone literally monetarily paying for something for you. But if you're not receiving those things from men, and if you're not even seeing them, you're not in your feminine receptive mode. Likely you are stuck in your masculine in your head, expecting things to come to you from an ego expectation that he should do this and that. And you're judging others because you're judging yourself as well. And your ego is getting in the way for how things need to come to you. And that you think that you need to receive something in order to feel good. But when you take responsibility, this is when you start to turn on your energy because you're choosing to consciously create based on you getting to choose how you feel. You can turn things around, or you can choose to not believe in any sort of limiting belief that might come at you, like, all my friends are getting married and the dating pool is a struggle. Like, there's no good men out there. You don't have to choose to believe that. You can choose to say, I'm happy for my friends that are getting married, and I trust the timing of my life, and I know that there is a good man on his way to me. Now, I know it may sound a little delusional, but if you've been around my space long enough, you know that I love a Delulu mindset, because your limiting beliefs, any beliefs that are rooted in lack and scarcity, as in there's no good men out there, dating is a struggle, where I live doesn't have, emotionally available men, that is what you will experience. The beauty of this life is that you get to experience your beliefs. But when we grow up in a very masculine society, we're often wired, we learn very lack and limiting beliefs. And also our brain is wired to keep us safe. So therefore, unfortunately, our default pretty much becomes this lack mindset. We have to consciously choose an abundant mindset. That's where the Delulu mindset comes in, is you get to consciously choose what it is that you believe about men. I love to say, men love me, protect me, and provide for me. And I start to see that in my reality. I see men that show up for me. I see men that want to take care of me, that cherish me in my feminine, because I trust that they are going to do that because that is what I choose to believe, and therefore I experience it. So this is how a turned on woman really starts to take responsibility, first and foremost, is by what are you believing? Where are the limiting beliefs that are holding you back? What are these emotions that keep coming up, and what's the root of that? Where's the belief that starts that? Because thoughts create our feelings. So if you're feeling a certain way, you have to ask yourself, well, what am I believing in order to feel that way? Is it that I'm not good enough? Is it that I'm too much? Is it that I'm not worthy? Why are you feeling that way? If you don't believe that there is a perfectly good man on his way to you, why don't you believe that? What could you believe? What could you believe and start to trust in order to transform and reframe that belief so that you can feel better? And knowing that it all starts with you is another core principle of being a turned on woman who takes responsibility and creates her reality. you know that it all starts with you. So the three main pieces that I coach women on as for their turning on their feminine energy so that they are empowered in dating, so that she enjoys the dating process and she understands that it's a refinement process, so that you start having more magnetism and meeting men in person, so that you stop attracting the men that just want to, sleep with you and have situationships, but you actually start dating men who want commitment, who want to, pay for dates and have consistent communication, and that want to, cherish you in your feminine and celebrate you and perhaps bring you flowers and make plans and things like that. That all starts with a core piece of energetics. And under energetics is mindset and your identity of being a woman. And what is it that you believe about being a woman? Do you have high self-worth of being a woman, knowing that a woman is the most powerful creator, that your creational sacredness, your womb, that is your power. You are a portal to another world, that you have a very intuitive feminine oracle within you. But you have to get out of your head and into your body in order to start to turn on your energy. You've got to actually make a connection with your body, which is why embodiment is also a major piece of what it is that I work on with women, because you've got to be in your body with your emotions in order for you to truly create from your emotional state. Because if you're overriding your body, you're never actually taking note of, what doesn't feel good, what doesn't serve me, and you're never really refining from there. So you've got to be in your body, owning your emotions as your superpower, even your negative emotions, because as a turned on woman who uses her energy to attract, you also are making yourself felt by a man. And the power of a feminine being is that she feels and reveals. But for so long, we have shut down how we feel. We've shut down our emotions because we've been taught that they are too much and we're too sensitive. And it's actually our superpower. And a man, a masculine man, wants to be able to feel you because he can feel your essence and your energy, your playfulness, your joy. As a woman, you're the vessel for pleasure, and you enhance his pleasure through you feeling your own pleasure. So he gets also like a window into your internal world as you feel and reveal, when you get out of your head and drop into your body, and that you can communicate how you feel without coding it in ego, because it's your truth, because it's your authenticity. Which brings me to the third area that I work on with women is expression, which is your true authenticity. It's your truth. It's who you are. It's not trying to be someone else or living up to a certain beauty standard. It's you having fun, playing in your expression, taking off the layers of too much, not enoughness, people pleasing, maybe even a type of like role that you think you need to play, or a way that you need to show up in the world because that's what you learned was appropriate and that's what was okay. Who do you really want to be? How do you really want to express? How can you stop judging yourself? Because authenticity is the frequency of truth. That's the truth. So you truly being yourself is what is felt by a man. He feels that self-confidence. He then also feels your feminine play and pleasure and sensuality and your in tuneness with your emotions, your vulnerability to perhaps go there into your emotions. I know that I've cried in front of a number of male friends, and I just let them decide if they can hold space for it or not. And that's just my truest expression. I don't hold back anymore. That's just an example. But when you are truly connected to yourself, to your inner being, as I would say, or your soul self, that is your truest authentic expression. And a turned off woman is disconnected from herself, is in her head, is living up to expectations, is doing what others have told her to do, is following someone else's path or what someone else said that works for them, but it doesn't actually truly work for her. But she's like, oh, but it must work even though it doesn't feel good for me. No, that's where you need to stop. So like, if you don't want to be on the dating apps because it doesn't feel good, don't do that. Trust in your energy. Trust that you go where it feels good. You don't have to try to date as a turned on woman. It becomes so effortlessly easy because you just take yourself out in the world wherever it is that you like to be. You play in your curiosity, your pleasure, your playfulness. You become the feminine invitation out in the world. And you might see a man, and as the feminine invitation, you can give him a green light. You smile, you flirt with life, you maybe strike up a conversation. But being a feminine invitation doesn't mean that you're initiating. It's not you. It might seem like you are maybe taking the first step, but you're doing so because it feels good. So it's truly authentic to you. And then you can see, how does this man respond to your feminine? Which is the whole point of being in your feminine in the first place. If you want a man who's going to lead you and who's going to, be your rock and stability, and someone who's going to protect and provide for you, and you want to be in that sort of feminine, you want to be in your feminine essence that is laid back and, full of pleasure and soaking in the present moment, then you have to set the precedent for that. And when you choose to start out in your feminine, you allow him to come in his masculine, and you set the precedent for that. So I mentioned the 3 areas for turning on your energy as a woman, with the first one being the energetics through your mindset and your beliefs and your identity as a woman and how you value yourself as a woman. All of that is going to change your emotional state. It's going to start to put you in the energy and a higher frequency, a more turned on state. When you stop doubting yourself, you stop, putting limiting beliefs on yourself, and you actually start believing in the possibility, believing in the delulu of having this beautiful, gorgeous relationship with this man, but knowing that you can have that because you are being that first and foremost, and that is what you believe is possible for you. Therefore, that is what you will experience. The second one I mentioned was the embodiment, your feminine embodiment of really using your emotions as your superpower, not being afraid of them, but using them to connect to your body. And as women, we transmute these lower vibrational emotions such as anger, sadness, and grief. We can transmute them when we feel them. We allow them to dissolve from taking control over us, and we then empower ourselves. We actually have more space and more capacity for the higher frequencies, for more love, more pleasure, more play. That's why going through a breakup is actually very transformative, and it actually creates more space for more of what you want, especially when you transmute those emotions into gratitude and pleasure and play and joy. It's a process to get there, but that's what it's doing. It's creating more capacity based on what you experienced on the low end. You have more capacity to go on the higher vibrational end as well. And then the third piece I mentioned is your feminine expression, which is your true authentic self. It is not shaming yourself or judging yourself. It is giving yourself permission to be who you truly are as a woman, fully expressed unapologetically as yourself. And a man can feel that. All of this builds into how you are felt as a woman, from your energetics to your expression to your embodiment. All of that helps you become a turned on woman who is felt by a man, because a man is going to be primarily in his masculine. A man who is vibrating highly in his masculine, you're going to be vibrating highly in your feminine. And this is not for you to be just uber feminine, but this is for you to be a little more feminine, especially in relation to men. You might be very masculine in your day job, and that's perfectly okay. And for you to be in your feminine in relation to a man. And this is first and foremost relationship to yourself. First and foremost, relationship to yourself. Because when we grow up in a masculine society, our feminine gets suppressed. So you have to rebuild this relationship to yourself, to your mindset and your beliefs and your value as a woman, your identity as a woman. And through your expression and your embodiment, reconnecting to your body and your emotions, creating space for your feelings, creating space for all of your emotions to be felt, and for you to unapologetically express more of who you are. More of who you are. You're building relationship to yourself, which will be reflected in the relationship that you have to a man. How you treat yourself is the baseline, is the standard that you are setting for relationship with a man. You know that it all starts with you. So it makes sense that relationship to yourself is the most important. And then I even say the second most important relationship is your relationship to God, source, universe, spirit, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, is your relationship to trusting life that comes through you, trusting that higher source energy, that you have access to it and that it is supporting you. And that's your relationship with life. So that's your second most important relationship. And then the third most important relationship is the relationship with a man. And you will learn so much in relation to a man when you are in relation to him from a perspective of growth and self-awareness. When you are looking at him or being with him and saying, okay, what is it that I like and what is it that I don't like? How can I not make him wrong? But, what is it that I do want? Can I ask for more of my wants, needs, and desires? Is that what is necessary in this moment? Or am I choosing that this is not up to my standard and therefore I'm going to move on from here? So there is so much that happens within the dating process in relation to a man, which we will get into in further episodes. Okay, so for more on turning on your energy to be magnetic and open to receiving a man in your life, be sure to continue to follow along with this podcast. And you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok as Lauren Likes It Like That. That is my handle. And send me a DM with your key takeaway from this podcast episode. I would love to know what landed for you, any aha moments that you had. And I'll see you back here next time on the next episode, babe.